odds-on favourites and things like that. So that would have been a bit of a quiet period of time. That would have been a good half hour or 40 minutes or 45 minutes of not even trading, not doing anything. That triple honour, mate, that is absolutely awesome. I'm not going to say anything about that other than the fact that you would never have got a third-place dividend in that race.
Sure.
So if that animal came third in a field of only 7 runners, you know, you would have kicked yourself because, you know, I don't know where it came, to be honest with you. I mean, we got 4, 6 and 5 and the odds are all, the places are all shown a bit funny and things like that. I'm not too sure what happened in that race because of the way that it's been displayed to me at the moment. I'm finding that a little bit unusual. I have to have a look into that later on. But, you know, that triple honour, fantastic indications, just not the right race. You know, we don't have a full field.
Sure.
All right,
and there was actually, you got one out of order there. There was another one at Caulfield, which was Commanding Hope, which I saw a few people having a shot at as well.
Yep, absolutely. No, I saw that as well. That was, Commanding Hope there. And look, you know, again, you know, looking at the ratings and things like that, that's really a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, like, I probably would have jumped all over that as well. And by the way, can everybody see what my black bookers were in that race? Look at that Raffaello, would you? I got a rating of 9 points on it, and the thing won at $16 anyway. I was too busy doing other things. I had no time to jump on it or do any of that sort of stuff. That is the power of black booking. And that was about it for you today, Gary?
It was, yeah. As I said, that's quite a few more trades than normal, but
yeah, for sure. No, I can totally appreciate that.
I was here for the afternoon instead of at golf.
Take your hand off the mouse. That's always a good start. Thank you so much, Gary, mate. I really appreciate your input, and I know that sometimes it's sort of, you know, I'm not trying to make an example or anything like that. I'm just getting some general input, mate, and your input has been invaluable today. Thanks so much.
No worries. I appreciate the opportunity.
Good stuff. Thanks, mate. Okay, now I can see that David Price has been waiting there with his hand up for a little while now, and I'll jump in and we'll get a little bit of feedback from David. How you going there, David?
Yeah, good, Kevin.
That's good.
We've covered I only had 3 today, and I got in a bit late, and
yep.
Just missed out on. Anyway, we've covered all 3 of them through. So.
I can't hear you very well, mate. I'm sorry. You're using.
That,
oh, good. Yep.
I was on. I got in a bit late.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Now it's been a reasonably good day today, I must say. I mean, I've not done as well as I should have. You can probably all see that I've stopped out with $433.90 in profit. And I mean, look, you know, that's not a bad profit in the big scheme of things. But I know that there's a few more out there who've done a little bit better than that. But yeah, I should have been sitting at around about 900 for the day today. There's no doubt about that. All right, well, David, if I've covered all of that for you, mate, I will move on with the rest of it. Thank you so much.
Please do.
Good on you. Look, folks, you know, it's really an important thing to be able to sort of use that a little bit of intuition and use a little bit of that sort of, you know, start to feel the market, start to feel exactly what you're doing, you know. If you're sort of jumping in and you sort of, you know, you do really well and you get 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 and 6 out of 7 and you're just kicking along quite nicely, and then all of a sudden, you know, you notice that the fields have got a lot more colour or more odds on races or any of those sorts of things. It doesn't hurt to take a break. If you've performed like that throughout the first half of the day, you've already made good money. There's no need to chase. There's no need to go after anything else. You can just sort of sit back, and actually the more money that you make, rather than, I know that you know, after talking to some people last week, I know that there's a thing there with some people that once you've made a heap of money, then you feel like that you've got more that you can play with on more races coming up. That's a dangerous mentality, a very, very dangerous mentality. In fact, it should be the total opposite. That when you've made money and you're up and you've got profit and you've done really well, you should be in a position where you can be even more blasé about sort of races and things like that, where you can sit back and say, that's not good enough for me, that's not good enough for me. You know, and always, you know, you've spotted great indications. Gary, I couldn't have picked anybody better to show us what actually happened earlier in the day, because he was there and he's making really good selections. But it's a common thing that happens, is that sometimes the day will turn around a little bit. You know, sometimes there will always be that, and I've said this for years. You long-termers that are listening, you know that I've said this for years. get on from the first Aussie Metro race of the day and take advantage of the early market, because it's the early market where you're going to make your money when you're doing things each way. So once you've sort of been on there for an hour, don't forget that one of the other aspects of what we do here is to free up some time. This isn't just about making good money, this is about lifestyle. So I don't want to sit here for 6 hours a day, and I have to because it's my job, right? But gee whiz, I wish I could only do this for an hour a day and get out and play golf. And, you know, with some of the things that have happened recently online, is I won't go too far into all that sort of stuff, but, you know, you all know that I'm on the edge of doing it, and I'm not going to do it, you know, like I love this business, I really love this business, but you've got to really sort of try and minimise the trades, minimise the time that you spend in front of the computer, take advantage of the best times of day, make your money, and go do something else, right? Because you can make in an hour a day what some people are making in a week, right, and more. So why sit there for 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever on a Saturday? And I know that there is an excuse today. I've started the webinar late, but there have been great opportunities today, and it was all before 2 o'clock, right? Point made, I hope. Does anybody else have any questions? No questions. Everything is making sense. Okay, well, I'm really glad. So let's just go through and have a look at another few things while we're on here, and we might as well take a little bit of a peek at what's going on online as well. We'll jump into the money screen and we'll check out what we've got as far as any races coming up. Well, we've got Rose Hill Race 6 coming up, and I wanted to talk today about some of the things that can occur with the favourites, such as you know, some what can be called in various markets a red herring. You know, basically these are sort of indications that look like they're fantastic indications, but they aren't everything that they appear to be. What I mean by that is that once you start getting to mid-meeting, or anything onwards from mid-meeting, you do end up getting a lot of really strong indications on favourites. What else you end up with is, you know, you'll end up with, like, you know, something that where there's been absolutely no movement in the market, and then all of a sudden there'll be one little bit of a move and everybody will follow onto it. So hopefully we're going to be able to identify a couple of those in the live market today. We'll just sit here and watch Rose Hill unfold in front of us, and I can already see that at the 5-minute mark on that favourite Denman, you know, he's always been the favourite, and there's been a substantial amount of money which has been kicked into the pool at the 5-minute mark. All up money is shown between 25 minutes and 10 minutes. That's my most recent research that I've done, and I've called the TAVs and I've asked them about, you know, when money is thrown into the pools and all those sorts of things. So the majority of all up money, what that means is that, you know, somebody, you know, what an all-up bet is, for those that don't know, is you make money on this race, and then that goes on to your next selection in the next race, and your winnings from that go and on to the next race and the next race, and so on and so forth. If there's been a good run of favourites for the day, you will notice that there'll be a lot of all-up money, which will end up sort of coming into the pools by about sort of mid-race or so. There has to have been a good run of favourites throughout the day, though. So if we look at Rose Hill, and we go back to, say, Rose Hill Race 5, favourite didn't win it, right? So there won't be any all-up money in the next race at Rose Hill. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does, because basically, you know, they've lost that all up, so that money wouldn't have come to fruition because an absolute outsider won that race, all right? So there might be a couple of little bits and pieces, but certainly not the types of things where we're looking and there's $120,000 placed at 10 minutes, which is, you know, a lot of the time that we see good all-up money come into the pools. It is rather substantial. All right, so again, I'm just going to go back into Rose Hill Race 6, and my immediate thoughts are this. I'm not seeing a lot of colour in the race, and more importantly, I'm not seeing a lot of strong home TAB movement in the race. I can see that there's, you know, one good strong home TAB colour there, and that's on Trusting, that's on the number 13 there. But really, as far as anything else is concerned, this race is a bit light on in terms of colour. Now, that's an ideal situation for us, no doubt, absolutely perfect, because, you know, we don't want to see a lot of colour in a race.